Hello everyone and welcome back to game number 2 of the finals of WCS Korea Season 2. This is Aussie Starcraft casting the finals between our red Protoss in the bottom right hand corner, which is Rain, and our yellow Terra in the top left, we have Maru. Now those of you who saw game number 1 saw an excellent display of Rain's Protoss versus Terran skills, able to use that Warp Prism to great effect, harassing the back of Maru's base while he pressed the front relentlessly, and we saw him able to break down Maru and take his Terran defense apart. Now, it'll be interesting to see what happens in game number 2. The map here is Anaconda, which is a bit of an interesting map, lots of different attack paths, so quite easy for players to get into a base race scenario, and we'll see if we see any of those here today. Highly doubt that we will. We haven't seen a base race in these games that we've convincing base race in the last several sets that we've cast. So looks like these players are settling in for the long haul. I have quite an early gas out of Maru here, so it'll be interesting to see what that's for. Maru, we noticed when he played Innovation, was highly aggressive, particularly on this map. If you'll recall, he had a very sneaky double proxy barrack setup that he used on Innovation, so it'll be interesting to see if he tries something similar, well obviously not proxying the barracks, but something similarly aggressive against Rain. I don't think that Maru wants to go up in the late game against Rain. Rain's Protoss vs Terran is just in fantastic form at the moment, and I don't think he wants to fight that tier 3 death ball that we've been seeing out of Rain. Now Rain scouting out here with his little ninja probe. Sneaky little probe that he uses to try and pick off as many SCVs as he can. But looks like no luck for the probe today. It's just going to get a bit of scouting intel before probably heading home. Now, just interested in what you guys have to say. From this series so far, what do you think? Are you banking on Rain to carry through the series? Are you expecting Maru to make a bit of a comeback here? Let us know down below what you think. We have Rain 1 up at the moment. Do you think Maru can swing it back and upset his momentum, or do you think that that Rain will in fact just carry over and stomp Maru in similar fashion to the many Terran that have preceded him? You see this lone Marine trying to work down the giant pile of rocks. He will in fact be shooting all day long. Miniguns are not very effective against rock walls, unfortunately. This SCV's checking out, see if we have any expansions out of Rain yet, but we in fact do not. Mothership core quickly out on the field, and a Stalker. And if this SCV doesn't hightail at home, he could in fact be in horrible like, no SCV, turn around, no, don't go there. Okay, he's trying to run, but oh, poor SCV. Can't get back to the mineral line. Stalker able to take him out. It's a hard life being an SCV. Poor sacrificial units. It's almost as bad as being as Ogling. And Probe suffers a similar grisly fate to the SCV, with early Hellions being able to take those out. You don't often see Hellions in the Terran vs Protoss matchup. You'll often see the Hellbats later on to try and deal with the Zealots at the front of the Protoss army, but you don't often see the Hellions like we have now streaking into the base. You see his Stalkers trying to focus these down, the Mothership core pitch in, but can he get a few kills with these Hellions? It remains to be seen. He has in fact got 3 kills, not a bad effort for 2 Hellions. It's 150 minerals to 200 if he loses this second one, and indeed he should. There it goes, with tyres and front bumpers flying everywhere. So a few more gateways being added on now that those scouting units have been picked off. And we have a medevac moving out with some Marines and Hellions loaded up inside it. We can see that 3 workers have gone down. If we go to the income tab, it should be fairly similar. Indeed it is. We notice that Maru is almost right behind Rain, and Rain has been chrono boosting his workers out. So this aggression that we're seeing out of Maru is having the desired effect, which is keeping the Protoss very close to him in workers count. This proxy pylon well positioned up here, but the rock tower ready to fall at any moment. A few Hellions poking at the front of the base. But a big warp in at the back. We'll see a few more workers killed off. We have 4 down now. This medevac unfortunately going down, and those cleaned up in quite effective fashion, though it did manage to deny quite a bit of mining time, and 8 workers have gone down. 2 Hellions out at the front, also making it very difficult to mine at that expansion. So Maru is doing quite a nice job of upsetting Rain's momentum. 8 workers killed, quite a nice effort for some early harass, and we see that Rain not able to make the use of his expansion that he'd like to. The mothership core being forced to drop that photon overcharge does make it a bit difficult to try and defend that natural, particularly with all... Oh, was that Rain that took out the rock wall and kept his stalkers up in the main, or was that in fact Maru that decided to do that? We have not a lot able to keep these stalkers from wreaking havoc in the base. Only 2 Hellions, and they're in fact getting picked off by the stalkers on the low ground. There's quite an excellent use of the stalkers here from Rain, just doing massive damage here to Maru. Stalker's almost able to even up. There's now 8 workers killed to each side. He does get rid of those last couple of stalkers, and that should end the aggression for the time being. We don't have blink on the field yet. We check the upgrades. No, too early for blink. We check the production tab. Still no Twilight on the way, but we do have a Banshee about to come from Maru. No cloak as of yet, but the observer did see that Banshee. Well, didn't see the Banshee getting constructed, but saw the starport working. Coming back to have a look at what's coming out, we will indeed spot the Banshee. Can Maru work any mind games with this? He could always pretend to be researching cloak if he knows that that observer's up there keeping an eye. Have these 4 stalkers working down the rock tower, able to warp in more reinforcements if he so desires. But Maru able to manage a counterattack of his own. So we see this Banshee doing quite significant damage to the stalkers, trying to force the Marines out of the barracks there. Can the Banshee stay alive? A bit of micro, and we see that he's indeed going to survive here and clean up these 4 stalkers. We have a look at the units tab loss to see who came out ahead of that exchange. We can see that our Protoss player Rain, in fact, able to make the most of it with his counter-attack there. Clean up quite a lot of SCVs. Had 12 workers go down and a number of other units. So Maru trying to drop a command center, make up for lost time. Finds the proxy pylon and wants to take that out, but this poor Hellion just can't work out how to drive, stuck behind his buddy. It's a bad day. We can see that even the portrait of the Hellion down here is quite confused. Trying to run by into the main again. We have a photon overcharge able to clean that up. Unable to kill any more workers at this point. Big force moving out here from Rain. A lot of stalkers, a lot of sentries. Probably going to try and get in this base and wall himself in, or utilise all this sentry energy to get a better positioning. We see Maru doesn't actually have a whole lot in the way of troops on the field at the moment, but he does have his macro CC almost finished now. Able to pick off that observer, trying to deny Rain any line of sight. Did he just pick? I heard a medevac load up. No, maybe I didn't. That was the bunker loading up. Sorry, guys. Thought I heard a medevac moving out. I was thinking that would have been awful time. Had this force moving in, nice force fields there to stop all the SCVs being pulled off the line. They can't repair the bunker, so now the Protoss force able to do considerable damage here, wipe out the Terran combat units, and now it's just SCVs against Stalkers and Zealots, and the Zealot goes to work. 1 SCV, 2 SCV before he goes down. But the Stalkers just mopping up a lot of units. It's looking very bad for Maru. 23 workers killed. These Stalkers able to lay into this starport. There's not a lot left for Maru here. What's he going to do? One Banshee on the field. Is a Banshee enough to hold this? I highly doubt it. I think we're going to see Rain take an early 2-0 series. More warp-ins of Stalkers from the low ground from this proxy pylon. And these Stalkers can kite back and forward all day long. Able to pick off some of his add-on, and the medevac is looking very bad for Maru. If he can get the siege tank set up, there might be hope for him, but these Stalkers, if they can see it, they know the blood's in the water. By the time that gets set up, they're going to be inside its range. Can they take down the tank? And indeed they do. Gets off 2 shots, but unfortunately the Stalker's able to take that down. It's looking very bad for our Terran player here. What can Maru do? He's trying to use his SCVs to buy a little bit of extra time for his Marines, but we can see Rain just able to continue warping these units in the high ground. We have almost no income for, well, actually with the second mining base we have 600 income per minute for Maru, but it's just not going to be enough here. Able to shut down the mining here as well. It's looking very bad for our Terran player. Protoss safely sitting on 2 bases, but not a whole lot beyond what we can see up in this section of the base. Can he stabilise here? Quite a decent force of Marines. Takes down the Zealot. Can he get these Stalkers before they make it out of the base? Unfortunately for Maru, he doesn't have Stim Pack yet, so he's unable to catch these units, and he's really suffering from well, his alien aggression was quite good, but suffering from the inability to transition out of that. He doesn't have the bio upgrades he needs, he doesn't have combat shield or stim pack, so all he's left with is these Marines to hold the line, and unupgraded Marines against Stalkers, just not what he wants to be left with at this point. Stuck on 1 mining base while his second's being shut down. Very bad position for Maru to be in. And we see Rain throwing down 3 more gateways to just keep the pressure on. I think Rain knows that if he can keep enough pressure on here, the game will in fact be his. It's turned into a 1-base game for Maru. He's got 3 command centres in his base, but nowhere to mine with them. These Stalkers just continuing to make a real nuisance of themselves. If we look in the production tab, we've got a tank and some more Marines on the way for Maru. Can he get rid of these Stalkers and re-secure his natural? We have a proxy pylon here, able to warp in more Stalkers there if need be. Unable to take out that 3rd Stalker is quite a setback for Maru. He would have liked to be able to cut those numbers down a little bit. Stalkers here trying to pick off the medevac if they can. All he's got to do is keep the efficiency on his side, and we'll see on the units lost tab that it is in fact favouring our Protoss planet. Now 6 Stalkers here trying to force these Marines and tanks back. And you see they are indeed able to pick those off consistently. Tank being forced to be picked up into the medevac. A little bit of clever micro to keep that tank alive, stop the Stalkers from focusing it down. And finally gets this expansion up, is able to drop a few mules to secure the income that he's sawing. His big warp in of Zealots. This is bad news. Stalker's able to focus down the tank while the Zealots absorb the damage. The Zealots Psyblades just going to work on these Marines. It's a bad day to be a Marine in Maru's army. And just see them being forced back. This command centre will get taken out. Try and repair it with the mules, but it means the mules aren't mining. And frankly, Maru needs every cent that he can get. More Zealots here to tank damage. Can these Stalkers make it? And they cannot. Maru forced a GG out of the game once more, and we see a 2-0 lead for Rain in this series. So excellent aggression so far out of Rain. Both these players trying to make it work in the early stage of the game. Hellion aggression out of Maru, but a quick counter-attack with Stalkers and Sentries really put Maru on the back foot in that game. So surprised to see Maru coming apart at the seams like this. We expected a bit more, well, a bit less one-way traffic, I guess, in this final series, but I think that Maru does indeed have a few tricks left up his sleeve. So is a best of 7 series. He's not yet on the ropes. He is down 2-0, but not unheard of for someone to come behind and clinch a series. So here's to hoping that Maru can pull his act together in game number 3. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember, go ahead and subscribe. We'll be casting the rest of this series and then some other high-level games. I'm really hoping that IEM New York, which is on at the moment, will release their replay pack in the next couple of days, and that'll give us some great and current, really high-level games to cast and enjoy together. So hope you guys are enjoying it. Go ahead and share it with your friends on Facebook and Twitter. We'd love to do everything we can to try and boost the presence of esports here in Southeast Asia. So guys, hope you enjoyed the cast. If there's anything I can do to improve, please let me know down below. Always interested to hear your feedback and hear what you have to say. So thanks guys, hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.